Welcome to GM Professional Accountants YouTube channel. Today I have Raja here with me, a certified bookkeeper on Xero. Xero, the accounting software system. So we had a few questions that were asked by our clients, our prospects, our subscribers. Today, Raja, we're going to be discussing Xero.
Sure.
So Xero as a software, what are the common issues, common errors that people are facing while using the software?
Sure. One of the most common errors that people are facing for Xero are the setting up of bank feeds. Xero has the functionality of setting up bank feeds.
So bank feeds. So you can explain to the audience what are bank feeds and why is it so important?
Sure. There's a direct link from Xero that goes directly onto your bank account, where you have to authorize bank transactions to be imported via bank feed into Xero.
Okay. So can anybody set this up? Is it quite straightforward, simple? I mean, do you require any additional training to do this?
I would recommend to look at a startup video for bank feeds on Xero. At the same time, it's quite simple to do. However, again, there are some errors that can occur while importing bank feeds.
Okay, so once they've loaded this bank feed up, set this up, so what are the problems that occur after this?
One of the most common errors that occur after importing a new bank feed is duplicate of transactions. You have a number of transactions that will be imported twice. So it's very important to have a check on those bank feeds against your bank statement to ensure that that bank balance is correct.
So to get this right for our audience, you're saying that to check that software system bank statement against a PDF statement?
Absolutely correct, Jess. You would need to check that against a PDF statement to ensure that that bank balance and the balance that you have on Xero are both matching.
So after doing thousands of bookkeeping clients, is this the main error, or is there another sort of error, as for example, we've been talking about, is the opening balance?
Yes. So, this is one of the most common errors that we've just spoken about, but there are many errors that can occur, such as you've just kind of explained, is the opening balances. A bank balance that is being imported will be imported from a certain date. However, if there are transactions prior to that, then that would need to be imported manually.
So, just to be correct, I'm a client that has no experience of double entry, just loaded up the bank halfway between. They've got some director's loan account expenses. How are they supposed to get this right? I mean, at the end, how do they know, look, the bank is reconciling, I've got all the expenses in there, the categories are correct? What is the final check on this?
Again, you'd need some background, in accounting, whether it's a bookkeeping course that you've completed or any sort of training. There are certain courses that you can complete via Xero on Xero software to ensure that you actually understand the backhand of the software. It's quite easy to make a mistake, categorizing something in an incorrect category. And then at the end of the year, when that balance, it doesn't agree with what your expenses are, then, it need to be recategorized.
So, the people that are doing their own bookkeeping here, so when they come to you at the year end with the trial balance, is it correct? Or, are there errors? Has anybody been correct on this?
I would say 9 out of 10 times, there are errors, because accounting is more of a specific niche where you need to understand the back end of what the trial balance is, what the chart of accounts is. It's easy to put something into an improvement where it's actually a repair. So again, it does take some understanding of the software to actually be able to finalize that to a final stage.
So I think it's important for the audience to understand that there's two parts to this, right? There's an accounting part to it, which is the double entry. There's a tax part to it, which is allowable expenses. Absolutely. So I think that's where people are struggling to know, is this an allowable expense? Yeah. If they get the double entry, right, they're still not getting the expenses, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely right. We've had a situation where someone been using their business account for their personal expenses, and they've put all those expenses into those categories. However, they don't understand that that's actually not related to their business and it shouldn't be claimed. So again, yes, correct. It could be easily, it could easily go wrong.
Okay. And on to my next question is the payroll journals. This is a question that is always raised because this is not straightforward. Again, there's some form of double entry here. Yep. How are you going to how are you going to tackle this with our audience here regarding the double entry and the payroll journals? So I mean, a typical client would have payroll on Xero or on any other software system. How are they going to make sure that this is correct in the system in Xero software?
Sure. I mean, if you're using the payroll software that Xero provide, along with the package, however, the subcategories, as you can say, such as pension payable, national insurance, gross wages, net wages. I mean, there's just a small amount of expenses, that you can be claimed throughout the payroll. However, there are many nominal codes, such as a student loan code. So each code belongs in its own chart of accounts, and it's very easy for someone who's a novice to come in and not understand any of it.
Perfect. So, okay, I think we've got a good overview of this. So, for our audience, what would you explain the top 3 tips will be in order to get Xero software set up correctly, running, and at the year end?
Sure. I mean, the first tip would be the bank feeds. Familiarize yourself with bank feeds. Ensure that you import them correctly. Secondly, I would say is understand the software. Whether that's doing a small bookkeeping course or try and understand the overall training that's required. And step number 3, I would say, is, as you mentioned, the payroll journals. If it's something that you're completely new to you and you don't know what to do, maybe don't go ahead and do something that's going to cause a bigger error for you and needs corrections.
Perfect. Thank you for your time and help today.
Appreciate it.
And thank you. And that gives you a good overview of Xero, the year end, and the common errors. We'll see you in the next video.